Hello and welcome back. So today, by popular demand, we are going to do a practice with our blocks. So if you don't have blocks, I will suggest you get blocks for this video. Although there are props that can be used when we are in one posture and we're saying, okay, if you need a block to support yourself, and if you don't have a block, you can use something else. I would suggest that you get blocks, and I actually would suggest foam blocks for this practice. So grab your blocks and let's get started. Alright, so for this practice, we are going to be using our blocks for the entire practice. I know that it's difficult sometimes. You buy these blocks and you're like, well, what do I do with them, right? So this practice is going to be all about our blocks. So we can set our blocks out in front of us, and let's first come to the breath. So I always like to start with some type of intention word, and today's intention word is kindness. So it's definitely needed right now in the world. We can all just share our kindness, be kind to others. So that's our intention. Feel free to set your own intention. But we're first going to get started with our breath. So we're seated upright, nice comfortable position. If you'd like to place a block underneath your bottom, you can also do that as well. Take that pressure off of the knees. So I'll show you that position and we'll get started with that first. So we'll come to our breath, inhaling in through the nose. Exhale, close lips. Inhaling in. Exhale, close lips. Last one, inhale in. Exhale, close lips. Allowing your body to soften. Now, if you have 3 blocks, that's awesome. But if you have 2 and one of them is underneath of you, feel free to take that second block and you can take it to, let's take it to the high position first. I always like to start in our high position, and then you can always adjust from there. So you can take it to your medium position, and then if you're comfortable, you can always take it to our low position. So those are going to be our 3 positions as we go throughout the practice. So let's first start in the high position. So of course our one block is underneath of our body, the other one is out in front of us. So we can take the block and begin to walk the block out in front. We're coming down, we're bending, we're having a fold, keeping those shoulders down away from our ears. We're pushing away, we're getting that length. You're gonna feel this in those arms, so that gaze is down, letting your neck be neutral. And then let's walk our block over to our right side. Feel that stretch all along your side body as well as your arms. Again, that gaze is down. So the same thing like we do when we have both hands down on the mat, you can stack that left hand on top of the right. So that's going to give you a deeper stretch. And back to center. And over to our left. And again, you can take the right arm on top of your left. Remembering to keep that forearm away from, and shoulders away from your ear. Forearms are down. And coming back to center. Gently walking that block back towards your body. Very nice. So we're going to take that block over to our right side. Now you can take it to any position that you like. I'm going to take mine to the medium position. Okay? And we're going to take that left arm overhead. Bringing that gaze up. Now, we've always done this side stretch. It may feel a little bit different, especially when your body is lifted off the ground, taking that pressure off the knees, and then that chest is nice and lifted. I'm going to take mine to the low position just to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Feel free to move the block to your comfort. We're going to come back up to center. Take our block over to the other side. Now I'm going to take my block down into the low position because that's where I'm comfortable. Feel free to take it wherever you are, and then bringing that right arm overhead. And lower down. Very nice. So we're going to come off of our block, come into that tabletop position. Now, if you have any wrist issues, if you have problems with your wrists, this is going to be good while you're on the blocks. So we can have our hands on the blocks like we normally do in our cat-cow position, or we can come down onto our forearms. So because our body is still lifted off the ground, now this is in the low position, feel free, if you like to still have a little bit of length, to come onto the high, medium position, or even the high. Again, you always want to start high and then lower your body down as you go. So listen to your body here. So I'm going to come down into the medium position onto my forearms. I'm going to bring them up so I can still kind of bend my fingers. Bend, and I'm going to lower my belly. Inhale in, lower the belly, and arch the spine, tuck the chin towards the chest. Now you're going to feel this in your arms a little more. Inhale, lower the belly. Exhale, push up. One more. Inhale, lower the belly. And exhale, push up. Now remember, you can also do this on your hands. Whatever's comfortable for you. So this works the same. I'm going to push back to that downward facing dog, but I'm going to place my blocks onto the low position in order for me to do that. So I'm going to bring my hands down, hip distance, shoulder distance apart, tucking my toes under, push back to my downward facing dog. Now, you want to be extra careful not to slide too much here. So you want to make sure that your mat is nice and grippy to your blocks. You're not pushing too much into the blocks with your wrist. You want to press into the fingertips. Pressing away. So you can walk your heels in wherever's comfortable. You're in that downward facing dog. Shift the weight into the heels. This is your first one, so you can pedal your feet out. Same like you would do. I want you to be careful not to slide too much on your blocks. Bring the gaze toward your hands, and now walk your feet right behind your blocks. You can also have a slight bend in your knees if you need it. We're going to forward fold, keeping those hands on your blocks. Shift your weight into the balls of your feet. Allow your body to surrender. Now your hands are a little higher than they normally would be. Rather, if you have your hands in the high, medium, or low position, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to do a flat back, keeping our hands on the mat. So just extending those hands. If you'd like to do a flat back and take your blocks, you can move your blocks as well. So whatever position's comfortable for you, we're going to do our flat back. Now it's easier to do a flat back with your blocks in the high position. I'm going to take one breath and then come back to the forward fold. I'm going to bring my blocks back down. We're going to push back to that downward facing dog. So I have my blocks in the low and I'm pushing back. Again, I'm pressing into my fingertips. Going to bring the gaze towards the hands. Walk the feet back to the front, back to that forward fold. Folding all the way down, shifting the weight into the balls of my feet. Maybe even the hands will get just a little bit of the weight. But we are here for stability with our hands on the blocks. Taking those blocks to your high position for your flat back. I want you to step that right foot back, just right behind you, keeping that foot planted on the mat. That foot can pivot out just a little. We're going to walk our blocks to frame that foot. Lower yourself down. So we're in our modified pyramid pose, but with our blocks. So lower your body down. You make the decision if you'd like to bring the blocks down to a medium position or a low. Completely up to you where you'd like to go with your blocks. Take one more breath. Feel free to bend into that front knee if you need it. Your gaze is back towards that toe. And then I want you to make room for your foot, stepping the foot in between your blocks. So we're back into that forward fold. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So stepping the left foot back, just right behind you, that foot comes flat on the mat. Framing the foot with your blocks. Forward fold into the inside of the knee. Again, you can have a slight bend into the front knee, allowing the body to surrender down wherever you are in the high, medium, or low position with your blocks. Making room for our foot to rejoin the front. Both feet are going to come into the middle. Back into your forward fold. We're going to step back, come into that tabletop position again. Shift back into your child's pose. Knees together, hands are going to be on the blocks. Feel the opening of your back, pushing away with your fingertips. We're going to come onto our knees and you're going to bring the right foot forward. So that right foot is going to be framed by your hands. I want you to walk your foot just out in front and we're going to flex that heel back towards our body. Now here you can come up onto the high position if you like to get a little bit more of a flat back, keeping that chest nice and lifted. This is our half split. Maybe if you get comfortable, you may want to walk your blocks down, feeling that stretch a little bit more in your hamstring. Still keeping your back nice and straight and your chest lifted. Taking 2 more breaths. Again, if you'd like to come down a little bit more, you can. And bringing that knee back. We're back into that tabletop position. We're going to bring the left leg through. Same thing, walk it out in front. Flexing the toes back towards your body. Slight bend in the knee if you need it. You can bring yourself back up into that high position. Allowing the shoulders to come away from your ears. And as you continue to breathe, readjust your blocks as needed. Only lowering your body if you feel comfortable to lower your body a little bit more into the stretch. And when you're ready, bringing that foot back into that tabletop position. Gonna rock your hips from left to right. Tucking those back toes, push yourself back into that downward facing dog. Again, remembering to keep the weight into the fingertips. Keeping your block as stable as possible. Walking yourself back up into that forward fold, where the feet are going to be right behind your blocks, bringing your blocks shoulder distance apart. Come back to that forward fold. On that inhale, come to your flat back. Blocks in the high position if you need it. Lowering yourself down into that forward fold. We're going to release our hands from the blocks and bring the arms up overhead, extended mountain. Bring the gaze up. This is our first standing pose. Slight back bend here. And exhale, come back into that forward fold. Hands on the blocks. Hands to shin for flat back. And forward fold again. Want you to bring yourself to that downward facing dog, pushing away. We're going to bring that right foot to the front of our mat. So we don't have to bring it there. We just can walk the foot to the front. Framing the foot with our hands and our blocks. Pivot that back foot. We're going to immediately open up to our warrior two. So open up, bring your hands off the blocks, open up to that warrior two position. We're going to straighten the front knee. Straightening that front knee. We're going to bring our hand out and then lower that hand to the inside of the foot. So we have a block here, readjust it, and then bring the gaze up overhead. So we're in our triangle position here. I want you to get comfortable within that triangle position. Allowing the shoulders to stack against each other. And bend the knee, come back to that warrior two. The hips are square towards the front of the mat. We're going to lower the hands down, windmilling the hands down. Bring the hands back onto your blocks. Bringing them out shoulder distance. We're going to step back to that downward facing dog. So this is almost like our high plank. We're going to step the left leg through. Stepping that left leg through, we're going to pivot the back foot. Open up to our warrior two on our left. Again, we bend into that front knee. Bend into the front knee. The hips are square towards the front of your mat. Straightening your left leg. Hinge forward. We're coming to that triangle pose. We have a block here. Bring the block and adjust it to the inside of the foot. Bring the gaze up overhead. Again, stacking your shoulders. The block can be in your high position, or you can begin to lower it down, whatever's comfortable for you. So whatever's comfortable, using that block as an assistance. I would say if you're new to it, get yourself in the high position, really open that chest. Work on your form. On that exhale, we're going to windmill the hands down, place the hands back on your blocks, and step back into that downward facing dog. Coming down onto your knees for that tabletop position. Untucking the toes. Take your blocks to the low position and push away. We're coming back to that child pose with our knees in. And when you're ready, bringing the gaze forward, we're going to come up and we're going to have a seat on our bottom. Again, We've used our block underneath of our bottom, so feel free to place it back, allowing those knees to come down. Allowing your body to get grounded. I'm going to readjust. Taking the other block out in front of you. I want you to inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring the arms down. So the arms are going to come down onto the mat. Your forehead is going to come onto your block. Readjust to where that forehead lands on the block. And your shoulders release. So we have one block underneath our bottom, keeping us up, and the other one on our forehead. Feel free to have those hands down for stability. Taking one more breath. And when you're ready, walking those hands back up towards the body. We're back into that seated position. Allowing your shoulders to relax down and back. I want you to take one more just centering breath here. And when you're ready, we're going to transition to our final pose, our Shavasana pose. So taking that block from underneath your bottom, allowing yourself to come down, all the way down onto the mat. Now, if you like to let the blocks comfort you, you can take the blocks right underneath your knees. It's a really nice way, especially like if you get a massage, they put the little bolster underneath your knees. You can do that. Lower your body all the way down. Readjust. Letting that spine come in contact with the mat as much as possible. Let your head surrender down. We're going to take one hand on our heart and one hand on our belly. Allow yourself to get grounded here. You're coming back to that intention. Back to your breath. As you touch your chest and touch your heart, knowing to lead with kindness. Knowing that if we share our kindness, our love, that it comes back to us. Put out what you want to get into the world. We're going to take an inhale in through the nose. Exhale, release our body down. Closing your mouth and bringing that awareness, that intention, front of mind, letting kindness take over. We're going to release tension, starting at the crown of our head, unclenching our jaw and relaxing our tongue. Letting your hip and your lower back surrender into the mat as much as possible. Your knees, ankles, and toes are relaxed on the mat. We're going to take 2 breaths of silence as we seal our intention. Beginning to invite movement into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. You can gently hug your knees into your chest. One last time for our practice. Rolling over to your side. We're going to use that top hand to push ourselves up. If you like to take the block back underneath your bottom, you can. Sitting on your block. Taking those knees down. We're going to take our hands to heart center. I want you to thank yourself for showing up for you today, committing to your practice. I want you to thank your body for showing up inviting new movement into your body with the blocks. I thank you for allowing me to share my practice with you. I really hope that the kindness that's in my heart echoes out and allows you to feel it. I thank you so much for allowing me to share my practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you really got a lot out of it and maybe can use your blocks a little bit more now. Let me know how you enjoyed this in the comments, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one. Until next time. One more thing before you go. Don't forget to like this video and also leave me a comment below on how you enjoyed today's practice. I am very, very interested in your journey and how you're enjoying your classes. Please remember to also subscribe to the channel and then also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I go live. I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, don't forget to live life with intention.